So what is it that bothers you about your coworkers?
The smoke break.
The smoke break.
The smoke break is the most
Why
unfair.
are you bothered by the smoke break?
It is the most unfair practice in all of
But you used to smoke and take these breaks.
commerce. I understand that.
And now
I
you
understand
chose
the
not
need.
to smoke anymore.
And I understand the need. And it wasn't until I quit smoking that I realized how unfair I was being to all my fellow coworkers.
But why couldn't, if you're not if a non-smoker, why couldn't you just go do something for 5 minutes, like or 7 minutes, however long it takes somebody to smoke a cigarette?
That's my argument. But I don't really want that because I like to get stuff done when I'm working.
When we first moved here, we would do this. We would all smoke a little bit, and because we all used to go out a lot, and so we would do a segment on the radio show, and then we would hit the button to go to commercials, and the computer takes over.
We'd
so
run
we
downstairs in rainstorms.
Yeah,
for
we'd go
God's
down
sakes.
there, and it was kind of nice just to leave the room and go outside and get some air. We were smoking, and then run back up the stairs and get back here to do the next thing we were going to do.
That's not in my makeup anymore, right? Like when I come in this room, I don't leave this room for 4+ hours. Actually,
Well,
usually.
we go to the kitchen,
Yeah, I will go to the kitchen, get coffee,
make
and,
breakfast,
and food.
Just that's about, and the bathroom. Actually,
then-
you don't even go to the bathroom though.
I don't.
I don't know how you do it. I drink a lot of water and coffee.
I'm like a camel.
I guess you are.
I really am.
I pee probably at least 5, if not 10 times during the show. Not 10's a lot, but probably 5 times a morning.
Jesus, why?
But because I'm drinking this, I drink this 40 ounces of water, and then I drink another 40 ounces of coffee, and so you got to hydrate, man. But the side effect is you got to pee a lot.
Do you think it bothers my coworkers that
nothing
smoke that I go and I make coffee from time to time?
No. I don't think so, but 42% of non-smokers want extra time off because they feel that smokers are getting all this free time to go down and smoke their cigarettes while they're working, and it's not fair.
So I think you were gone one day, but there was a company in Japan that was offering an extra week of time off if you did not smoke cigarettes. And there are a lot of people saying that that's an unfair practice because how can you discriminate those that smoke? You're not discriminating. That's how much time you guys take off. They did a study and they found out that the smoker takes about 46 hours a year off from the job to support their habit, depending on, and it varies based on how heavy of a smoker you are.
Yeah.
But they said anybody who's about a pack a day in that study, about a pack a day in that study, they had the choice. This company gave people the choice. They said you can smoke cigarettes, that's fine, or you can have. If you're not a non-smoker, we're going to give you 40 hours extra vacation.
Here's my thing. I don't care if you smoke. If you're are you getting your work done? Is everything that you were supposed to be getting done on a timely fashion, and it's not impacting your coworkers? Smoke all you want. As soon as it starts impacting everyone else, that's when we have a problem.
But that's the thing is,
and some people can handle that responsibility, and others can't.
But it's you could be doing more just because you're getting done what your duties are. Doesn't mean that it's still okay on my watch if I'm an employer, because the way I look at it, if I'm an employer, is I'm like, well, man, you got a lot done today, but imagine if you had that extra 28 minutes that you used to smoke cigarettes.
Well, you hired them to do a job. If they're getting their job done, fine. It's the people that actually put in the extra initiative to get more done are the ones that get promoted and raised. You know what I mean? That's how you reward people.
That's true.
But that we live in this world, this day and age where everybody has to govern everyone else and tell everybody else what to do and how to act. Not everybody needs to have a babysitter. A lot of people do. And 28% of smokers and 42% of non-smokers say that non-smokers should get 3 to 5 vacation days to be fair.
The Japanese model.
The Japanese model.
Remember back in the 80s, we were like, man, we're glad we don't live in Japan because we'd be working our asses off. Then Japan started beating us in the global economy. Then we're like, man, we better start working like we're in Japan because they're kicking our ass. So now we work like we're in Japan. Now Japan has come back full circle to the 80s United States, and they're like, dude, we've overworked our workers too much. We need to give them more time off. It's come full circle now.
Let me ask you this. If I said,
remember Gung Ho, that movie with Michael Keaton?
Yeah. If I said, hey, an extra week of vacation, that's 40 hours of vacation on top of what you're already getting if you quit smoking. Or for you,
quit chewing nicotine gum?
Yeah, well, Jeff was a smoker, then he chewed, and then I'm glad you quit chewing, but now you got to get rid of the nicotine gum. Yeah. You have to cut coffee out. I mean, if you had to cut a vice, could you do it for an extra week of vacation? I think I could.
I wouldn't.
I would find something else to do.
I
would go to tea.
You're different. You're different because you utilize all your vacation. You are a vacation machine. I can't because of and these obligations are only going to mount even further because my kids are going to start going to school, which will then limit days that you can start taking vacation. And right now,
then you want to take spring break.
I didn't even think about it, but I looked at my paycheck stub the other day. I have 4 weeks of vacation. 4, because I'm not ever taking as much vacation. So I have 4 weeks of vacation now.
That's
and
good.
Last year I got a break because my son was born the year before, so I got like a little.
Yeah, you get these
little Sundays.
What are they?
Yeah, which are great on paper, but then when you go to pay your taxes,
maternity leave.
Yeah, they're not so cool. But
man-ternity.
But now I've banked up all this vacation time, and I cannot foresee myself
take a week off
using.
Stay home.
I'll be honest with you. In a couple of weeks, I'm probably going to have to take a week.
Yeah,
off.
when you move into your new place, you're going to probably have to take some time off.
But it's like I cannot. I'm looking at this vacation time, and I'm like, there's no way in the world I'd ever be able to take 4 weeks off if I had to. So, if the question is me in my current state, if I got an extra week of vacation or stop chewing nicotine gum, I would stay with the nicotine gum because I have a budget. I have a budget of vacation days.
This is actually,
and I need that for sanity.
This could be a great poll question. If you're a smoker, would you give up smoking? But you really only have to give it up at work, right?
How about giving up your biggest vice?
Yeah, okay.
To apply it to everybody.
So, okay, but you would only have to do it at work. You could go home and drink coffee all you want. You can drink coffee before you come here.
Yeah.
Drink coffee when you get home.
Only
smoke
at work.
when you get here. Before you get here, smoke when you get home.
Whatever your at work vice is, and I believe at work vice is a thing. Whatever your at work vice is, maybe it's hanging out at the water cooler, annoying people. Maybe it's walking around and socializing. You ever think of that? Because that person is far worse than a friggin' smoker. That person needs to be kicked in the head and sent down the stairs.
There's been so many studies where the people are so much less productive at the office place because of that. Small talker.
Small talker. Maybe there's a fantasy football guy. Here's the deal. You tell me come September, all right, Jeff, this year, if this company came to me and said, this year, we're going to give you an extra week of vacation if you don't play fantasy football. I play fantasy football, and it's $100 buy-in. And that's it. That's all you spend. It's free agency, balls to the wall after that.
It's endless entertainment.
It is endless entertainment for 13 weeks. For 13 weeks, it is the most entertaining thing I can do. If this company came to me and said, I'll give you an extra week of vacation if you don't play fantasy football this year, I'd be like, screw you.
Would you be willing to give up your at-work vice? Some definitions of things that might be an at-work vice. Smoking, of course, that's what even brought up this conversation. Online shopping? You do a fair amount of online shopping at work?
Not at work, no. Most of that's at home.
Sometimes. Was looking at Craigslist for deals.
Is that what you do?
Is that considered online shopping? Because I'm not actually clicking buy.
Well,
but I'm
for the last 4 months, all you've been doing is looking at real
homes.
estate.
Yeah, so I
probably have it up right now.
That is definitely some online shopping.
Well, I'm glad that on Friday, are you going to be closing your deal on Friday?
Well, hopefully. Fingers crossed. You never know.
Check out this place on 275 Carmel.
No, nothing's for certain.
Look at this place on 317 Fox and Canyon.
Nothing is for certain. I'm not moving to Fox and Canyon, trust me.
Well, whatever. I'm just trying to use examples.
Social media. A lot of people like to listen to radio. A lot of people like to listen to the Jeff and Jeremy in the Morning podcast while at work. You know, maybe they have like a 5-minute commute to work and they didn't get a chance to hear us finish what was going on the air. So they'll listen to it at work. Is that cut into productivity?
I would say probably yes. Music probably not. Music is more of a background thing, right, where a podcast
you can do stuff while
you'll have to listen to, and that's going to distract you.
Yeah, whenever I have to do data entry, that's when I listen to podcasts. So because data entry is such mindless, like you're just a machine. You're just like blah 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 cranking away, and you can't make a mistake because it's so monotonous that you're like entering in so much data. That's when I will listen to some podcasts, socializing while you're at work, etc. Those are things that would be considered at work vices. Would you be willing to give those up for an extra week of vacation? That is the poll question right now at KZOZ.com.
David's holding on. What do you want to say, man?
Smoking, I agree. They take way too much time to smoke cigarettes.
Mm-hmm.
Should you be able to smoke on lunch or your break?
Amen.
And 40 hours a year off is awesome.
Amen. But is there anything that you do at work that can't really be considered work?
I actually got reprimanded because I socialized too much.
And now, socialize meaning like face-to-face socialization? Like you walk around and you talk to everybody?
Yeah. Hey,
Okay.
Jeff, how you doing? What'd you do last night? And then you're wasting two people's time.
Oh, yeah.
That's what that is, and that's what they told you.
Yeah.
So when you get reprimanded for that, what is the punishment?
If you get written up for the same thing 2 times, you get suspended. 3 times, you can be fired.
Okay, so you've been written up for it once, right?
Yes.
What if they came to you and they said, Dave, we noticed that you like to waste your time and somebody else's time at work a lot by having this socializing hour or 2 or however long it takes. Maybe it's only 10 minutes from time to time. But they came to you and they said, stop talking to people at work. We will give you an extra week of vacation at the end of the year. Would you stop talking to people at work?
Yeah, I wouldn't talk to anybody.
See?
I'd be like,
The week vacation is the cure to all the problems in the workplace. All you have to do, my wife, she smokes, right? I said to her last night, I said, hey, because I knew we were going to be talking about this today. I said to her, and she smokes, I don't know, about 10 cigarettes a day. So she probably is about half that time. She probably wastes about 20 to 30 hours of company time smoking cigarettes. And I said to her last night, I said, if the work came to you and said, we'll give you an extra week of vacation if you don't smoke at work, would you stop? She said wholeheartedly yes. I said, no, you wouldn't. There's no way you'd be able to.
She would stop at work.
And that's what she said. She goes, yeah, I could stop during the work hours. No problem.
Yeah.
Therefore, you're saving the health of your employee and you're getting more productivity out of them. This is the cure to everything that is a problem in the workplace. With fantasy. Now, I said fantasy football earlier. I wouldn't quit. I'd think about it at least. I'd think about quitting fantasy football.
But then they got to police you, and then they got to, they got to walk the halls.
Yeah,
you got to look at the cubicles, and if they said no social media at work, you stay off social media, we'll give you an extra vacation.
There's
week of vacation.
There's ways that they could track that through your computer. So
how much more money and time are they going to spend doing that?
Not much.
Okay.
Not much, I don't think. I mean, hell, they probably have every company's got an IT guy.
Yeah.
They'd be able to see what websites you're looking at, and they're like, okay, well, Jeff doesn't get his vacation this year because he was on NFL.com making waiver wire pickups.
Susie isn't going to get her extra week of vacation because she's a smoker.
Yeah.
She's down there by herself.
We've got her on surveillance on the smoking porch.
And I guarantee you, smoking can be a social thing, too, where people just like to go down there, have a cigarette, chit-chat a little bit.
Well, you mentioned it earlier. That's what we used to do on the show all the time.
It's kind of it was a total social thing. And so, you take that away and only one person is now down there. Next thing you know, they're not going to be going down there anymore because they'll be by themselves. Mm-hmm. And it won't be really
the extra
fun.
week of vacation is the cure-all to end-all for anything that's a problem in the workplace. You could get more productivity out of your employees if you just threaten them with taking, or I'm sorry, incentivize. Incentivize? That's not even a word, is it?
Just giving them the incentive.
Yeah, give them the incentive to actually
dangle the carrot.
Pick up another week of vacation. They'll be willing to do a lot of things.
All right, thanks for the call, Dave.
Smoking. Can they quit smoking, though?
Well, I don't know, but
they might.
Hey, who knows? Who knows? Maybe if you you take an 8-hour break on a daily basis, then you're more likely to quit smoking. So
maybe that cigarette doesn't taste so good.
Yeah.
All right, buddy.
One more reason to quit. Just one more reason to quit.
Thanks for the call again. 543-3693.
Your professionalism shocks me. Okay, right when you said dangling the carrot, your microphone fell off of its stand and fell down.
Do you have your phone? You should do a Facebook Live video right now of how ridiculous this is.
And I thought it was an effect of what you were saying, right? Because right when you said dangling the carrot, I look up and there's your microphone falling, but it's still hanging by the cord.
So now I'm holding it.
Christ Almighty!
This is just how we get things done around here. Hi, good morning. You're on the air. Go ahead.
Radio paid for listeners.
Good morning, fellas. I'm trying to understand that if you get a week's vacation at the end of the year, it's only for not doing something at work. So, Jeff, all you got to do is refrain from talking about fantasy football for 4 hours a day.
Well, no, because the problem is I not only work the 4 hours here
on the air,
and I don't get to leave right afterwards.
Oh, okay.
There's certain things like with podcast revolutions and everything like that. We're
putting in an 8.
Yeah, we put in a full 8, and there's other things that we have to do, and trust me, I can get caught on the. Like I could feel the eyes of coworkers burning into the back of my neck when I'm sitting there on the waiver wire, come like September, October, and I'm looking at everything. I know that people are judging me like, oh yeah, Jeff's on the fantasy football train again. I know.
13 weeks.
Yep, 13 weeks.
Thanks for the call.
13 weeks of lost productivity.
We got Jeff Stolberg here, stolberglaw.com. Okay, we got to get to this Oprah thing, all right? Do you have headphones you can put on?
Sure.
Throw those on so you can hear this. So she's got a new policy. Actually, this isn't a new policy. This is a policy that Oprah's had for quite some time, all right? We're talking about, workplace vices. If you have a vice, like, Jeff, you're always sucking on these Ricolas. And I'm starting to think that might be a vice for you.
Oh.
You love that Ricola.
Well, it's an addiction in the morning. For some reason, my voice is always a little scratchy in the morning, even though I'm a non-smoker. And so I usually take or suck on a Ricola before I come in and talk on the radio.
Yeah.
If I hadn't had my 2 cups of coffee.
I have Altoids in my truck, and I've never been a smoker. I've had some when I've drank and stuff, but it's almost like I need to have some sort of oral fixation, so I'm always grabbing Altoids, and I'm chewing them, or I'm chewing gum or something like that. If this is your issue and you work for Oprah, it's a bad thing because apparently she has an issue with it.
It's not good. I had it barred. It's barred at my offices. Nobody is allowed. Everybody I work with knows this.
Wow.
Do not chew gum in front of me. No, it's a thing.
Okay.
It creeps me out.
All right.
All right, can we actually do that, Jeff? I mean, when we talk about employment law, and I know this is something that you've specialized in and you specialize in, and you've actually wrote manuals for companies.
It's come to this. We're talking about gum.
Yes.
Oprah will not let you chew gum, and she's got to read. Do you want to hear the reason? Let's hear the reason real quick, and then we'll get to if you can actually ban people from chewing gum.
You intensely dislike gum chewing.
I intensely dislike it.
Yes.
And it comes from my childhood. I grew up poor in Mississippi, and my grandmother, this is absolutely no hyperbole whatsoever. My grandmother used to try to save the gum. So she would put it on the bedpost. She would put it in the cabinet. She would put it everywhere around. And so as a child, I would bump into it, and it would like rub up against me. And you know what it's like when you've taken it out of your mouth and it's been out for a couple of weeks?
Yeah.
It's bad. And so I was afraid of it.
Okay.
So
Well, she's
apparently
definitely a no
grossed
gum
out.
person.
Yeah. Okay, so I mean, but in this world we live in today, I just feel like the employees have so many rights. Can you actually tell them not to drink or chew gum or I don't know?
Drink? Where did the drink come from?
Well, you start with chew gum, and next thing you know, nobody's drinking in this office. No drinking water, no drinking coffee, no drinking anything.
Well, first of all, it always depends on whether there's some substantial relation to what the work is. For example, if you're constantly dealing with the public, say at a front desk someplace, it may be reasonable under those circumstances to say, hey, we don't want you chewing gum while you're talking with the public. Also, there's hygienic reasons. I mean, the country of Singapore bans gum. I think it's easier to bring in untaxed cigarettes into Singapore than it is to bring in a pack of double mint gum.
Singapore bans gum?
Yeah, there is it's illegal in the country of Singapore to own, possess, or chew gum.
You go to jail.
Well, there's hygienic reasons for it. That's their public policy reason is that it's unhygienic, and really Oprah's peccadillos about gum chewing relate back to when she was a kid and her view that these, I guess spit-soaked wads of gum would appear, all over the place in the house.
And so her policy isn't don't take your gum out and set it on a piece of paper on your desk. It's nobody can chew gum at all.
Right, and there's a disposing of gum issue. If there isn't a trash can really there, look at when we were kids how much gum there was under desks.
Oh yeah, sure,
and things like that. And it is arguably a way to pass disease if people are putting gum in places where other people are coming in contact with it. I think that in a professional office setting, some people may legitimately just consider that unprofessional way to deal with folks, and just make it not a part of the workplace.
In your experience, when you've done these office manuals for HR, or even in your own office, do you have things that are banned, that are not allowed?
Sure, at certain places, depending on what the work is, you should tell people that they can't eat at their desks because of equipment and other things that are there.
What are you laughing about, Jeff?
Intern manual for this place cracks me up.
Oh, okay.
No beverages besides bottled water at the desk, because spillage could affect computers and things like that. And you have a designated lunchroom for places like that. Or
I've dumped a cup of coffee in the keyboard.
They can leave
I've been known to do that.
Yeah. Certainly no smoking on the premises.
We can say no smoking. We have a smoking porch here that if somebody wants to smoke, there's a side porch on the side of the building. There's a back stairway. You can go down there. You can have a cigarette. They got ashtrays, things like that. And they got a table. People want to eat outside, whatever the case is. But you can actually say there's no smoking on the premises.
In my view, though, it's generally better to try to put a positive onto doing, if we're in place to do an affirmative behavior, than to put a negative on doing a behavior that you want to stop. For example, the Japanese are sort of smart about that. We were talking about that off the air, that employees that don't smoke because of their sense that the non-smoking employees use their time more efficiently because they're not leaving the workplace to take a little break, take smoke breaks, and they have fewer health issues.
Right.
They say if you sign an affidavit saying you're a non-smoker and you're committed to that as part of the company, we'll give you an extra week of vacation every year.
Right now, it's 50-50. We're asking people on the poll question, would you be willing to give up your at-work vice, whatever that may be? It might be social media, it might be online shopping, it might be socializing, it might be smoking, for an extra week of vacation as an incentive. At the end of it, it's 50-50. 50% of the people saying that extra week of vacation is cool.
I could see, though, for example, where the Oprah no gum rule could be problematic. For example, let's say someone whose cardiologist says you have to quit smoking, and I am prescribing you Nicorette gum,
right?
And I want you to chew this gum whenever you get the urge to smoke. And your boss comes up to you and says, "Hey, you're chewing gum at work," and say, "Hey, I have a cardiac problem that's being treated by not smoking." And
that's a good point. I was thinking, what if you were had some kind of anxiety issue and your doctor prescribed you, but chewing gum soothes your anxiety? There's all kinds of weird things.
What if she pulls the Oprah Winfrey card? She says, "But I'm Oprah, and what I say is the Bible."
Yeah.
Because Oprah can do that.
Here's the thing: when you're hiring, I suppose if you ask, "Are you a gum chewer?" that question probably does not violate any state or federal anti-discrimination law.
We have a no chewing policy here, so you're not going to chew gum here. So if you're a gum chewer, you might as well turn around and leave.
I think I would walk out.
Really, in many office,
because you wonder what else would come with that.
Right, exactly.
In many office contexts, it's deemed unprofessional. So, for example, at a place where you have a receptionist that greets the public and that is the sort of the representative face for everybody there, I don't think there's anything unreasonable about saying to that person, "Hey, we don't want anybody chewing gum up at the reception desk."
Gosh. So I come to you and I say, "Listen, my cardiologist told me I have to quit smoking. He wants me on this Nicorette gum." And Oprah, I work for Oprah. She says she's gonna fire me if she catches me chewing that Nicorette gum.
Well,
do I have a suit? Do I have a lawsuit with you?
Depends on whether you go to Oprah or her HR and say, "Hey, look, I request an accommodation. I need to do this. When I do this, as long as I don't do it around Oprah, is that okay?" I mean, what she's really saying, I think, in her realm is, "I don't want to see it."
Okay, now, let's say I bring the accommodation. They're like, "Okay, fine." But Oprah keeps coming by my office and she can hear me smacking on that gum. And next thing you know, 2 weeks later, I'm laid off. Like, "Oh, we're eliminating this department." Do I have a lawsuit? Is there a door there? Is there something that you would look at and go, "Yeah, I think we might have something"?
Could you file a piece of paper in the courthouse and say, "I'm suing over this dispute about whether my right to take the prescription medication, recommended by my doctor supersedes her right to be in a gum-free zone"? That would be a question of fact that a jury would ultimately decide.
Right.
God, I want Oprah to get so sued
unless
for this.
Unless some court preliminarily determined that it was reasonably related to work, and that there were other alternatives. For example, like a Nicorette lozenge or something that didn't require you to, or a patch. So you'd go into that. Well, if you really need some help to stop smoking while you're at work, perhaps we'd prefer you use the patch to chew and gum.
That's Jeff Stolberg. StolbergLaw.com is his website.
Those are the kind of debates. Those are the kind of debates you get into in parsing the rights of the employer versus the reasonable the employee versus the reasonable expectation of the employer.
Do you remember the intern manual here? Whenever an intern was supposed to...
They couldn't show their underwear?
that was the thing. They could not wear thong underwear. It was like paid... the intern manual is like you're getting free work, right?
Our interns, they work here free while they go to college to get experience.
Yeah, the intern manual was like, I don't know, it was only like 5... Like the piece of paper, the handbook for interns was only like 5-6 pages long. But in one of those 5-6 pages, it said on there, one of the interns brought it to our attention. He's like, wait a minute, hold on a second. Like, did you guys see this? And we're like, no, what does it say? And he goes, it says I can't wear thong underwear if I want to wear thong underwear.
It can't be exposed. That's funny. And maybe that was a joke. Who knows, working here.
No, who knows? Maybe it wasn't a joke.
Or maybe there was something that happened in the past.
Yeah.
Well, on the collateral side of it, too, maybe somebody thought that the underwear, like the boxers above your Levi's, was unprofessional, too, and so that it would cut both ways.
That is Jeff Stolberg. 544-7693 is his phone number. You can reach him via the World Wide Web, of course. It's Stolberg Law.
Hopefully not about gum chewing.
Today is Bring Your Hangover to Work Day. A gentle reminder from Jeff and Jeremy in the morning on 93.3 KZOZ.